Whispers on the Wind, Ancient Russes and the Shadow of Prophecy. Written by Neil Gaiman. Dense forests stretched across the land, their vast canopies forming a green ocean that seemed to go on forever. These forests were not just a collection of trees, they were ancient sentinels, guardians of secrets long forgotten by time. The ancient oaks, with their gnarled branches and deep roots, whispered secrets to the wind. These whispers were not mere sounds, but echoes of the past, carrying tales of heroes and legends, of battles fought and lost, and of prophecies yet to be fulfilled. Mist hung heavy over rushing rivers, creating an ethereal landscape where reality and myth intertwined. The rivers, with their relentless flow, seemed to sing songs of destiny, their waters a mirror to the sky above. Their waters reflected a sky pregnant with unspoken prophecies, a sky that seemed to hold the weight of the world's future in its vast expanse. Every cloud, every ray of sunlight breaking through was a sign, a message from the heavens. This was Rus, a land of fierce tribes, ancient magic and looming shadows, a land where every tree, every stone held a story, and where the line between the natural and the supernatural was blurred. The year was 941 AD, a time when the world was on the brink of change, when the old ways were being challenged by new ideas and new powers. A sense of foreboding hung in the air, a palpable tension that could be felt by all. The villagers, with their simple lives, could sense it too. They looked to the skies, to the forest, seeking answers, seeking solace. A premonition of change carried on the wind, a change that would bring both hope and despair. The wind, with its gentle caress, seemed to whisper of things to come, of destinies intertwined and fates sealed. The whispers spoke of a coming storm, a storm that would sweep across the land, changing everything in its path. Faces appeared in the mist, ghostly apparitions that seemed to warn of the impending doom, a clash of wills that would decide the fate of the land. Warriors, with their swords and shields, prepared for battle, their hearts filled with both fear and determination. They knew that the coming conflict would be unlike any other. At the heart of this brewing conflict stood Prince Igor, a young leader with ambition burning in his eyes. He was not just a prince, he was a symbol of hope, a beacon for those who believed in a united Rus. A young leader with ambition burning in his eyes, his gaze was intense, filled with dreams of glory and visions of a future where the tribes of Russes stood united under one banner. He dreamt of uniting the fractured tribes of Russes, of bringing together the diverse peoples and forging a powerful nation from the scattered remnants of a proud people. Around campfires, he spoke of his vision, inspiring those who listened, of forging a powerful nation from the scattered remnants of a proud people. Blacksmiths worked tirelessly, forging weapons for the battles to come, while warriors trained in the forests, honing their skills and preparing for the inevitable conflict. But the path to unity was treacherous, fraught with danger and steeped in ancient magic. The mountains, with their treacherous paths, and the forests, with their hidden secrets, posed challenges that tested the resolve of even the bravest. The whispers on the wind grew louder, more insistent, as if urging the people of Russes to heed their warnings. The trees rustled, the mist swirled, creating an atmosphere of mystery and anticipation, hinting at a destiny both glorious and terrible. Glowing artifacts, remnants of a bygone era, seemed to pulse with energy, as if holding the key to the future. The sky, dramatic and foreboding, mirrored the turmoil below. Igor, oblivious to the true cost of his ambition, marched boldly towards his fate. He contemplated his decisions, unaware of the sacrifices that lay ahead, of the lives that would be changed forever by his actions, marched boldly towards his fate. With his army behind him, he led the charge, determined to carve out a new destiny for his people, unaware of the shadows that loomed on the horizon, waiting to test his resolve and his vision. The ambitious Prince Igor and the dream of a united Rus. Igor was not a man born to sit idly by. From a young age, he was captivated by the stories of great leaders and the vast empires they built. He would often be found in the company of elders, listening intently to tales of valor and conquest, his eyes gleaming with a vision that far surpassed the confines of his immediate surroundings. He yearned for more than the petty squabbles and fleeting alliances of the tribes. The constant bickering and temporary truces among the tribes frustrated him. He saw the potential for something greater, a unified land where people could live in harmony and strength, free from the incessant conflicts that plagued their daily lives. He envisioned a Russes united under his banner, a force to be reckoned with from the icy north to the sun-drenched south. His dreams were not just of power, but of a legacy that would endure through the ages. He imagined a land where trade flourished, where cultures blended, and where his people could thrive in peace and prosperity. His ambition was a double-edged sword, fueled by both noble purpose and a thirst for power. He was driven by a desire to protect his people and to elevate their status among the neighboring tribes. Yet, he was also aware of the intoxicating allure of power, and he often found himself wrestling with the darker aspects of his ambition. He rallied his warriors, their loyalty forged in the fires of countless skirmishes. These men were not just soldiers, they were his brothers in arms, bound by a shared vision and a common cause. They had fought side by side, bled together, and their bond was unbreakable. He spoke of a shared heritage, of a common enemy in the nomadic tribes that harassed their borders. His words were not just rhetoric, they were a call to action, a rallying cry that stirred the hearts of his people. He reminded them of their ancestors' struggles and triumphs, and he painted a vivid picture of a future where they could stand united and strong. His words resonated with the people, igniting a spark of hope in their hearts. They saw in him a leader who could transcend the limitations of their fragmented existence. His vision of a united Russes was not just a dream, it was a promise of a better tomorrow, a beacon of hope in a time of uncertainty. They saw in Igor a leader who could deliver them from uncertainty, who could usher in an era of prosperity and strength. His charisma and determination inspired confidence, and his people began to believe that under his leadership they could achieve greatness. They envisioned a future where their children could grow up in a land free from fear and strife. Little did they know the price that ambition would demand. The path to unification was fraught with peril, and the sacrifices required would test their resolve. Igor's journey was not just a quest for power, it was a test of his character, his leadership, and his ability to navigate the treacherous waters of politics and war. The dream of a united Rus was within reach, but it would come at a cost that few could have anticipated. The seer's warning, a glimpse into a fateful future. Deep in the heart of the ancient forest, shrouded in the mists of time, lived a seer of unparalleled power. Her name was Olga, and her wisdom was sought by kings and commoners alike. Igor, driven by his ambition, sought her out, seeking her blessing on his quest for unification. He found her in a grove of gnarled trees, their branches heavy with the weight of centuries. Olga looked upon Igor, her gaze piercing his very soul. She spoke of his destiny, of the greatness that awaited him, but her words were laced with a chilling premonition. She warned him of a terrible battle, of a sacrifice that would test his resolve and shake the very foundations of Russes. She spoke of a guardian, an ancient entity bound to the land, its wrath terrible and absolute. Igor, blinded by ambition, dismissed her warnings as the ramblings of an old woman. He would soon learn the folly of his arrogance. Olga's hands, weathered by time and experience, held a mystical artifact that glowed with an otherworldly light. This artifact was said to hold the secrets of the universe, a beacon of knowledge and power. Surrounding her were ancient scrolls and texts, each containing prophecies and wisdom passed down through generations. Olga read from one such scroll, her eyes filled with the weight of the knowledge she possessed. Igor listened intently, though his face betrayed a mix of determination and skepticism. "The path you seek is fraught with peril," Olga's voice echoed through the forest, carrying a sense of urgency. For a moment, doubt flickered in Igor's eyes, but it was quickly replaced by a steely resolve. Olga's eyes reflected the flames of a distant fire, a symbol of the conflict that was to come. Turning away from Olga, Igor walked into the forest, his back to the seer and her warnings. Olga watched him leave, a look of sorrow and resignation etched on her face. As Igor journeyed deeper into the forest, the trees seemed to close in around him, their ancient branches whispering secrets of the past. He encountered various mystical creatures, each one a test of his resolve and determination. Finally, he stood before a massive ancient tree, its roots sprawling like the veins of the earth. The tree's bark glowed with a faint, mystical light, hinting at the power it held within. With a trembling hand, Igor reached out to touch the tree, feeling its ancient power course through him. In that moment, a vision of the future flashed before his eyes. showing the terrible battle and the wrathful guardian Olga had warned him about. Igor's face contorted with fear and determination as he realized the gravity of his quest. Turning away from the tree, his resolve was strengthened by the vision he had seen. As he walked out of the forest, the light of dawn broke through the trees, illuminating his path forward. At the edge of the forest, Olga stood watching, her eyes filled with a knowing look. Igor nodded to Olga, a silent acknowledgement of the wisdom she had imparted. Olga's face softened with a hint of a smile, a glimmer of hope shining in her eyes. With renewed determination, Igor walked towards the horizon, ready to face his destiny and the challenges that lay ahead. The forest was bathed in the golden light of dawn, a symbol of new beginnings and the promise of a fateful future.